Were you there? Oh, you must have been. I see you have a palm. Did you put your coat on the ground? Did you see? Did you see my son? He was the one on the donkey. Isn't he handsome? What? A mother can't be proud of her own son? I mean, I am so excited. This reminds me of the day Jesus was born. Much excitement in the air. I was tired. I had been having contractions all day. Joseph was doing his best to find us a place to stay, but I could see the fear and uncertainty in his eyes. But I knew we would be okay. I knew God would take care of us. Yet, it was unnerving to watch him go through door after door after door being slammed in his face, and there was nothing I could do except breathe and remember to allow God's love to just radiate through me. And then you know what happened? A miracle. This innkeeper said we could stay in his stable. Joseph felt awful. He really was hoping for a nicer place, but I was grateful. It was nice to have a place that was dry and private. So after Jesus was born, these shepherds came. They said they had been visited by angels. Angels! The angels had told him they would find the Messiah. He would be a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in the manger. I know a little something about visits from angels. The angel Gabriel came to me before Jesus was even conceived. So I can tell you one thing, that there is nothing like a visit from an angel to turn your entire world upside down. On the 8th day, we took Jesus to the temple to be presented. It was the custom of the day. And there was this old man, Simeon, there. He was so happy to see Jesus. But he said some really strange things to me. He told me a sword would be thrust through me. Honestly, it made me nervous. But then Anna the prophetess came and she started praising God. Joseph and I knew Jesus was special. The angel had come to us. But these people seemed to know too. Clearly God was talking to them as well. We went back to where we were staying and Joseph got some work and I was busy with the full-time care of an infant. The sleepless nights, all of your needs revolving around the needs of this little one. So you can imagine my surprise when these magi show up and they've got these really expensive gifts for us of gold and frankincense and myrrh. It was a lot to take in. And yet, it was a really amazing time, and I will never, ever forget what happened next. Joseph had a dream that we needed to leave. The political climate was really uncertain with Herod as king. And so we got up in the middle of the night, packed our clothes, and we fled to Egypt. We heard a little while later that all of the children that were 2 years old, all of the boys 2 years old and under, were murdered. Murdered. I didn't know how to feel. My heart ached for those mothers who lost their sons, and yet I was so grateful that Joseph had heard God's voice and followed its guidance, and we were safe. I'd never imagined myself as an immigrant. It was strange to be in a different country with different customs and language. But the Egyptian people, they were so welcoming. They accepted us and took us in. despite the fact we didn't have any papers, we didn't have any family in the area. Our life was good there. Jesus continued to grow. I remember when he was a toddler, he would make the cutest sand pies, and he would bring them to me so proud of himself. He would also say some interesting things. He would say things like, God is my Father, and God loves everyone, and people should be kind and loving to each other, especially the people that are different than us, especially our enemies. And then he'd go back to being my 4-year-old. It was really hard to keep up. But you know what? Whenever the sage would come out, and I knew them to be truth, just like that day the angel Gabriel came. Jesus wasn't always perfect. I do remember this time when he was 12 years old. I got so angry with him. We had been in Jerusalem for the Passover, and when we left, we thought he was with his friends. We trusted him. So you can imagine when we started looking for him at supper time and couldn't find him. I have never been so scared in all my life. Have any of you not known where your child is? It's terrifying. And do you know what? When we found him, he acted like it was no big deal. Of course, I'm in my Father's house. I'm doing my Father's business. And I will tell you, Joseph and I did not feel nearly so gracious. It was a good long time before we let Jesus out of our sight again. Life was really good. We went back, and Jesus kept growing, and he was learning the carpentry trade from Joseph. We knew God had plans for him, but we told him it would be a good idea if he learned a trade. And he was quite handy with a chisel and a bow drill and a piece of wood. He would make the most gorgeous furniture. And this peace and calm surrounded Jesus. Oh, he would still get angry, but it was usually about some injustice or someone not being kind to someone else. And in the evenings, he would sit with the other men, and sometimes I would listen. And they would get into some political debate. And Jesus would advocate for, love and kindness and treating your neighbor as you want to be treated. The other men would, shrug their shoulders, ignore him. His words made a lot of sense to me, but I wondered how he'd make it in the world. When he was about 30, we had some friends that were getting married in Cana, so we went to the wedding. It was a really great time, but somehow I found out that they'd run out of wine. I didn't want our friends to be embarrassed. So I called Jesus over to do something. I knew it was time for him to share his gifts with the world. A mother knows these kinds of things about their child. So I encouraged him. All right, I told him he needed to do something. These were our friends. It was the least he could do. Well, he was none too happy with me, but he did change the water into wine. And that was the first of many miracles that I and others would witness. The love of God would flow through that boy in a way I had never seen. His message and teachings, they were different. And a lot of people didn't understand them. And at times, I was concerned for his health. He was always on the go, barely taking time to rest or eat. Although, he did seem to have a special relationship with God and seemed to be able to draw on this unending source of energy of love and light. I would never get tired of listening to my son talk. You know, there were a number of women that traveled with Jesus, and the 12, as they were called, a small but mighty band of misfits. We would help with the crowds, and it was a really wonderful time of my life. And I have never been prouder of my son. Although, I do remember this one time. I had stayed back to visit with some family and friends, and when Jesus' brothers and I caught up to where he was, we sent a message, said we were there, we wanted to see him. Do you know what his response was? Who are my mother and brothers? Look closely. These are my mother and brothers. Really? I mean, really? I mean, I knew what he meant. I mean, we're all connected, so we're all each other's brothers and sisters and mothers, but still, I mean, didn't I deserve some extra consideration? I mean, after all, I was the one who gave birth to him. I mean, what have these crowds done for him that I haven't? I'm embarrassed to say it was not my finest hour. God and I had a long talk that night. I was feeling really lonely and could feel the despair starting to overwhelm me. Thankfully, I've had enough experience to know that if I just slowed down, remembered all the ways God had taken care of me, that I would be able to hear his voice and follow its guidance. I mean, after all, Jesus was doing the good he was called to do. My job as his mother was to be his cheerleader and not take things personally. It wasn't easy, and it took a few days, but I did eventually find my center again through my own time of contemplative prayer and meditation. Do you know, I have witnessed so many miracles. Blind men seeing, lame people walking, lepers being healed. I mean, even Jesus' friend Lazarus being raised from the dead. And today, it feels like the entire world is finally seeing, like really seeing who Jesus is in all of his glory and majesty. I mean, the shouts of Hosanna are still ringing in my ears. I have never been happier for my son. And yet, I have this strange foreboding. The words of Simeon keep coming back to me. A sword will be thrust through you. What does that mean? The crowds are worshiping him today, but things are uncertain. I mean, you would not believe the kind of torture the Romans put people through who don't agree with them. I mean, stonings and scourgings and crucifixions, they're commonplace. It's really horrible. The people are worshiping him today, but crowds, they can change quickly. I mean, one day it's Hosanna, and the next day it's... I wish this sinking feeling would just go away.